Oh, well.
Oh, I get so confused. So those listening, the van is either in Ohio or Pennsylvania.
Right now it's in California.
It's always a matter of trying to coordinate where the dirt bikes are in relation to where the van is.
Yeah. But the van's in California now.
Van's in California now with Tyler Stepik. Shout out Tyler Stepik. What day is it today? It's the first outdoor tomorrow.
Dude. Yeah.
Hot diggity dang.
I'm so stoked. I don't even know how to watch it because I don't think it's in the same place as Supercross.
I don't know how to watch it either.
And I really hope I don't have to buy another subscription. I got an email about it the other day and it was like, oh, you have to buy a $6 a month subscription to Mav TV Plus. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. But motocross is kind of like killing themselves in that regard.
Yeah, well, I like watching it more. There's just something really fun about watching. There's so many more variables. Supercross Supercross is still not a controlled environment necessarily because every single lap you come around, it is very, very different. But outdoors, just being a wider track, just having more options, more traditional passing options, I miss it in that sense a lot.
Yeah. I can't wait to go to some
to watch.
This
so
year.
Much happening.
I've been to I think 4 motocross races in my life.
Which ones?
I went to Southwick twice when I was a kid. And I've been to Unadilla the last 2 years, and I went to Southwick last year. So I guess that's more than 4.
So you've only been to Unadilla and Southwick.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Unadilla is a good one. Southwick, not so much to watch because Southwick you can't really see, right?
No, you can't see anything. Unadilla, you can see everything, but
yeah.
But I'm like a little kid, of course. Like I want to be like right up against the track anyway. Like I run around the whole time. Literally the first time that my friends and I went to Unadilla, they all like sat on the big hill at Unadilla over by Sky Shot, you know? And I was like, see ya. And I just went on my own for like the last moto because I was like, I'm not going to sit up here. Like this is a worse view than TV. Like
yeah. And outdoors, sometimes you can situate yourself to where you're right there.
I know. It's good to be in the center. Like if you can get in the infield, which you got to pay, obviously, but it's like, it's legit. It's awesome.
I just saw a clip of Anderson. I was trying to think of who it was, of Anderson at Pala for the press day that they had on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And it just made me think of how much more, in my opinion, now this will be interesting. I would ask you the same, or we could ask the audience too, to comment below and let us know. I saw this clip and I'm like, he must be going 70 miles an hour. And it made me think outdoors is way more dangerous than Supercross. And I think that the stigma is the exact opposite. I think people think, oh, Supercross, death cross, like those guys are, on the verge of killing themselves all the time. But the speeds are so much more low. I would choose Supercross for safety purposes 10 times out of 10. Like outdoors is scary.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, because I would agree. I would say Supercross is more dangerous than outdoors. I would agree with everybody else. I mean, I've never ridden Supercross.
I think it's just a matter of lowering speeds. Actually, I had the same conversation with Carmichael and Emig and talking about how do you make Supercross safer. And my argument was make the tracks more technical so that the speeds are slower, because ultimately like the mile per hour is what mattered. So if you're crashing at 20 miles an hour as opposed to 35 miles an hour, that makes a huge difference. And then you go from Supercross to outdoors, instead of crashing at 30 miles an hour, now you're crashing at 55 or 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's the way that I look at it.
Well, I just think the reason people think that, as well as myself, is just because I feel like there's a lot more bad crashes in Supercross right now than there are outdoors.
Yeah, but then you watch like the MXGP highlights, and is it not every weekend somebody is just launching through the air and having like the most catastrophic crash you've ever seen?
This is a super overdone topic, but I do want to hear your thoughts on it. Okay. Why is Europe and all those guys so much better at motocross than us? Because it was never that way. But in the last like 5-6 years, it has totally flipped upside down. And now we're just getting whipped at Motocross of Nations.
Yeah, it's just because we're all Supercross specialists now. Nobody really cares. Outdoors is an afterthought. So unless somebody gets hurt in Supercross and it times out perfectly to where they can get additional outdoor prep, everybody's main focus, everybody's main off season is all Supercross. So we're better at Supercross and they're better at outdoors. And look at the outdoor tracks that they're riding constantly. They're riding in terrible conditions a lot of the time, sandy conditions, tracks that aren't maintained the way that US tracks are maintained. Like, of course, the fact that we were better for as long as we were didn't even make sense. It makes sense that we should get annihilated. Now, that's why it's going to be interesting seeing Caroli. What place would you guess that Caroli would get?
Dude, oh, that's a great question. I have no idea, but he'll be top 5. I don't think he'll win, to be honest. Why? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he won.
You think you think he wins round 1?
Well, okay, let's see. Paula, I don't know if Paula would. I don't think Paula would necessarily suit his style. I think that would suit more of an American rider style because it's just sort of high speed and California hard pack ish. I think Tomac wins round 1.
Yeah, I don't think that's far
But
off.
I bet you Caroli will be on or near the podium, and I bet you Caroli will win a race.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if he'd win the championship.
I bet you Caroli wins like High Point.
Really?
Yeah. Or Southwick.
The thing
Probably
is, like,
Southwick.
that would make sense. I've never followed MXGP. I really don't know anything about it. I know Caroli and I know Hurlings, and that's it. Like, those are the only 2 riders that I could name out of MXGP.
Really? And
Yeah.
that's sad. I know more about it than that, but not as much as I should. I just don't have time to watch full races. I do try to watch the highlights and just generally keep up with it. But I'm excited for making more Moto Academy YouTube videos starting again this weekend. Jack's going to start recording them and sending over clips. And I think there will be a lot more highlights for outdoors because you're getting a lot more footage.
Right.
You have two hours worth of racing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
You know, so, and I think the information is a lot more relatable for the average person.
Right, because it's Moto.
My breakdowns in Supercross sometimes get so specific that it's like somebody that doesn't know much about Supercross would have no idea, and it would go right over their head.
Okay.
Where outdoors, it should be relatable.